Mhm. Okay, are we live already? No, not yet.
Oh, you want to do the show
Yeah.
now?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, just a moment. It's not everywhere simultaneous, so needs kind of some clicks on the buttons, and I'll try to do it simultaneously. So, um, um, okay, go live. Okay, it's like 3, 2, 1, and we are live here on all the devices from a stove. Oh, this one doesn't really work. Ah, live. Go live. Okay. Go live. So we are live now on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We try to do all the channels simultaneously. And we are in Paper Fetish, and good morning. Today we have very expected guest. So please introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Arturo Simone. I am a writer and visual artist. Write prose, poetry, essays, make drawings.
Okay, cool. So how is your morning today? Tell me about it.
Well, good as of the moment I got here. Got here at the moment I entered the Paper Fetish. It was very good.
Okay.
That point onwards.
Nice to hear that. Thank you. And I heard that you had an exhibition recently. Can you tell about this?
Yes, I had an exhibition of drawings in Amsterdam. The title of the exhibition, Bestiary as Autobiography. And,
Wow, that sounds impressive.
Well,
Can you explain what it means?
Well,
Place the books also to the club?
Yeah, if you like. Thank you.
the drawings that we chose for the exhibition
Yeah.
had some element or theme of the bestiary. The bestiaries are these mysterious manuscripts from the Middle Ages and afterwards that show mythical creatures that people believed existed out there in forests, whether in Europe, in Africa, or in Libya, or in the Americas. The first ones I saw were on the island where I was born and grew up, Aruba. In the library, they showed pictures of what kind of mythical creatures the Spanish and the Europeans believed lived on in that region. So,
without ever being there, just it was imaginary, right?
Partly, yes. I mean, some of the also people who had been there, but they still fear that there were giants who ate other giants or strange creatures, man with a bird beak coming out of his mouth, very bizarre beings that believed populated the Americas and Africa and so on.
Cool. That reminds me a little bit of Borges.
Jorge Luis Borges.
Yes, his mythological stories. Yes.
Yeah, the best.
Yeah. And also a little bit of Marquez with his 100 Years of Solitude. There are also people believing in weird stuff.
Yeah, to this day, though, people believe in weird stuff.
Which is fascinating, right? With our age of technology and so on.
Well, it can be.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, a lot of people who have technology also still believe in weird stuff. obviously.
I guess people need some space in their fantasy to like spare space in their imagination for just imagine things.
Well, yeah, sure, certainly, of course.
Yeah. And what's the most weird creature which is part of your work, which you could describe?
Well, I mean, I'd be a funny arbiter of which one is the most weird. Usually, people tell me what they find
Yeah.
weird in particular.
Oh,
I mean, these beings come, naturally to relate to me. How just very, I, I end up always drawing some kind of chimera, some kind of crossroads, mixture of realities.
yeah. So, which creature was like first one which strikes your fantasy?
There's often these beasts are not from a preconceived mythology. Like there's a wolf, the heartbreak voodoo wolf, which is one apparition, and one creature from existing mythology that always captures my interest is Borak from the Quran. So in the Quran, the Prophet Muhammad is walking in Jerusalem, I think, and a creature, a donkey with wings and a woman, a female face, gets all kinds of advice. And so this creature, Borak, I made a drawing about Borak. This was in the exhibition as well. The exhibition is not so much a documentation of any mythology. It's not about curiosities from history so much as these drawings they have a very personal aspect to them. I mean, it's like
your fantasy, basically.
Fantasy. Yeah, I mean, fantasy has to me certain connotations. Like Gabriel Garcia Marquez, he said he hated fantasy. Of course, to you, he is full of fantasy.
It's a contradictory statement, but I think he wanted to be provocative. So,
well, I guess to him, fantasy is like is a divorce from reality, and for him, it was realism what he was doing, his style.
Magical realism, I would say.
Yeah. Well, realism that suits the crazy reality
of his mind.
Of Latin America.
Also,
yes, a place of strange, extremes. Well, I mean, like you are from Russia. I mean, the realism by a Siberian is not going to look like reality if a person from Amsterdam reads it.
No, but I'm fascinated about the realism of Latin America, the magical realism. I think there is so much to dig into.
Definitely, yes.
Because I'm fascinated with their literature and
I know.
art. Yeah. So yeah, fantastic. So can we look a little bit at your drawings together? Because you brought this book. Would you like to share it with our audience and
yes.
tell a little bit?
Yes.
This is very special. It's a sketchbook of an artist.
Well, you surprised me a little bit. Had I known we would show drawings to or do an interview, I would have brought more recent, colorful things. Because people like color on the screen, I suppose.
But sometimes it's good to be taken by surprise and not being too much prepared. You know,
course.
this is like part of this program is
Yes.
like being completely unexpected. Nobody knows any plan. There is no script.
Yes.
There is just. I also didn't know that you would come by this morning, so it was also a surprise.
So.
And this is like exactly referring to paper fetish because I like this sketchbook to do. It has kind of this old paper, a bit going a little bit yellow and very very vulnerable in a way.
Here's a page that broke from the book, but it belongs
Yeah.
in this book. It's a sleeping.
Wow. So this is a raven or something. This is
It's a giant flea or a giant parasite with feathers and maybe like an armadillo tail, but it's like a giant
parasite with feathers.
Here-
How impressive is
Here's
this?
the moon of the flea. So there's a flea inside the moon.
Flea like in a stone or like
Yes,
all
like an
those
amber, yes.
All those like old, when they are frozen in the
Yes,
stones.
those prehistoric mosquitoes.
Yeah. It looks like it.
And this is a woman sleeping. I mean, there's a whole story behind it. And she is dreaming, and there is a guardian.
Nice. And she has an eye on her. If you can come closer, you can see that she has an eye on her,
Forehead.
between her brows. Yeah, forehead.
Yes.
Exactly.
And she has her friend is a guardian. This being, this man, he guards over her as she sleeps because she is a type of person who sleeps well if someone else remains awake to watch over her. And this man is a defender, so he can make him turn himself into three, can make himself triple in order to protect against beings like this one.
Is he a real man or is he a spirit, like an angel?
No, he's not a spirit or an angel. He's more like between a man
Magical
and
creature.
it's like a golem.
Golem,
The
yeah.
golem.
Yeah.
Yes, and he is trying to guard over her as she sleeps because they are in the wilderness under the moon.
Yeah. And does she know about his presence?
Yes.
Okay, so she knows and it makes her sleep well.
Yes.
Wow, this is very impressive. How did you see this in your imagination? Did you see it also in your dream? This kind of situation?
In my maybe not really during a dream, but in during the course of a story I was writing, perhaps.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to talk to you actually about the inspiration because you seem to be getting a lot of inspiration and opening up your fantasy. How do you achieve this state of mind and when? And because everybody has their own little secrets, like some drink a lot of tea, some are awake during the night.
Yes.
So what's your routine? How do you get this?
Well, lately I think being awake during the night helps.
So these are the night dreams which are not during the sleep, but awake dreams.
Could be. I drew these during evenings, not really late, but in the evenings many years ago, while I was traveling and while staying with a friend in the mountains. Her family lived in the mountains. in France, and I was a guest. And then I began this, but then I continued this book for the year afterwards. After I returned I was living in Utrecht at the time, but Utrecht has nothing to do with inspiration, and to the contrary.
All right, a
But,
lot of compliments for the Dutch people. Like,
well, there are inspiring parts of Utrecht.
Yeah. It's very old town though, and it
Yes.
has those domes, the huge cathedral.
Yeah, that
Which
clanging bell.
Yeah, with the bell, and I think it is a kind of inspiring.
Well, there is a
scary.
certain beauty to Utrecht and these old Roman, some old Roman buildings there. Certainly, it's a nice place to walk in the evening. The old city. Yes. Well, for inspiration, coffee, a cup of coffee is good.
At night.
Uh,
And being in a strange guest house in the mountain. Just a little bit of what you need for inspiration.
For inspiration, inspiration. Well, I suppose keeping neurotic activity to a minimum.
Neurotic activity.
Consumptive activities, not do too many stupid things to fill the day. It's important. I mean, what you don't do is as important for inspiration as what you do.
Yeah.
Like if I go to Albert Heijn too much, for example, it's not good. Or if I always pay my transport on the bus instead of sneaking in, I think it's more. I'm constantly loading my. I don't know if your audience is in the Netherlands. If they know what this thing is, the OV-ship, the transport, like little acts of rebellion keep the mind a bit clean to receive good information.
Okay.
Yes.
But sometimes if you sneak in and the driver starts shouting at you, did you have this?
But I know
situations?
No, because I'm subtle. Yes. So this is like a daily
good.
ritual.
Maybe we should also ask from you a little workshop about that.
Yes.
How to be subtle in Dutch transport, and how it keeps your mind clean.
It does,
inspiring.
Well, for example, like outside of the building where I live, I'm going to and then after this example, I will stop my critique of any of the Dutch for courtesy for the viewers who might be offended, and also for legal reasons. But where I'm living in the Netherlands, in a suburb, there's for now I'm living there temporarily. Somebody installed this space age device on the garbage dumpster, and I have to.
Cards to throw away your garbage.
Yeah, there's a biometric card to open that.
Yes, it's crazy.
So this is an example. If I were to use the card, this would not be good for my inspiration.
Yeah.
So I have to.
Being a proper citizen, like burger, in there, I totally agree with that. Little daily rebellion.
Yes.
From the system. So
not too exaggerated, otherwise,
you get in trouble. So
possibly.
Yeah. But how do you escape the little routine of the garbage with the card? So the secret.
Well, I guess in a cowardly way, I put it out at night.
Okay. The little guerrilla actions.
Hardly. I mean, maybe in that neighborhood it is guerrilla, but not really. And anyway, well, enough on these state. I mean, I don't want to dwell on these matters, but inspiration. I mean, reading good books is inspiring. Good novels, poetry, and wine more than beer, I find.
Oh yes, absolutely. I don't drink beer personally. I
Really?
just don't like the taste.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah. I also kind of discover maybe a little bit similar attitude to like to be creative, but sometimes I fill my day with the routine as a kind of fear to be creative for
Mm.
some reason. So I don't know. So I need such tips and advices from people who manage to be creative, and how existence as an artist. How do you manage to survive as an artist in such a world which gives a lot of pressure to the people? You have to be that. You have to be this. All that stuff. How do you deal with that?
Uh, you mean
Do
with,
you do full time only art, or do you do some side jobs or um,
I have a kind of side activity. I found a way to dedicate most of my energy and time to art, to writing, and to making drawings. But I do have a parallel thing.
yeah,
Yes.
like most of us
Mm.
have to split the personality?
Yeah.
Do you feel like there are like two different personalities inside you, and you have to do the normal?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly, I do something rather alienating. Possibly.
Yeah.
Yes. I also I also find that survival as an artist is about more than subsistence. I mean, more than how to eat while.
Not just economical, of course.
Well, it's all economical. I mean, the art world, the openings, the gallery world. It's a very it's a certain territory. It's not without many perils. It's art world, the social, the whole. I mean, the whole the world of museums and galleries and so on. It is finding one's source of income is one thing, but surviving is broader than that. There's all these social codes that an artist should not have to know.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah.
I am not sure if you are.
Yes. Hello. Sorry, we have to
Please. Sorry? Yeah, that's why we take it.
So, well,
Okay, okay.
can I ask you to pick one book from the shelves which you can intuitively find inspiring, and just say a couple of words about that? That's our guideline for the morning program. Yeah, you managed to.
Yes.
Good.
Joe Campbell.
The tea goes just from the. Just a second.
No. Much? Okay. Yes. Abstract? Yes. One or two? Two. Okay. The donation was 5 years, correct? Yes. Can I put it? In my hands. So this is for one and this is for the other.
So we have a lot of guests, which is good. Live, and we are waiting for Arturo to select his book of the day. Super exciting. Because he's super inspiring person.
I'll bring it. Yes.
Okay, so.
Jasne, będziemy tego gdzieś na
Where was that rare Russian book? Ah, there it is.
Yeah. All right. Very exciting, and I think very good cherry. Wow.
So these,
Yeah, I never had those books before. Oh, that's funny because in iPhone is reversed. You can read it other way around. But
Oh, yes.
it's funny. Yeah. All right. So he picked two books.
yes.
Wow.
And
Nice. And why those two? So.
So this one, just alive, because it shows glimpses of Russia, maybe.
This is a book of Yevgeny Vasin, photographer from Sakhalin. It's an island near Japan, and it's a very rare book. So it's some people gave like it's excellent reviews. Like Martin Parr is one of the biggest fans. Martin Parr, he's a famous photographer from
I'm
England.
a bit ignorant about your field, really.
Yeah. So this is an incredible piece of work with black and white photographs from Russia just after post-Soviet Union time, and incredible insider's view. He mostly did the hidden camera, and he's also an inventor. I find him kind of a genius almost. And a big secret, which is now getting revealed, is that we are preparing his new book to publish by Dostoevsky Society.
Oh.
Yes, and we are already working on scanning his archives. And it's a huge work.
Picture from near this island in Japan, near Japan.
Yes, all of them. Yes,
they're from that island.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know. Maybe that's why I picked it, because I am from an island, so I like all the crazy people who live on islands. I mean, I don't like all people who live on islands, of course, but I mean, I like how.
Well, it's island thing is like, I think that at that time the whole Soviet Union was kind of equal. It was almost the same everywhere.
Really?
So Sakhalin was not really so different from any other city like in the middle Russia or in the south, because
Soviet Union tried to make sure
it was maybe even economically more prosperous, because they are richer. They had fish, they had caviar, they had oil, still have all that stuff. So Sakhalin is more prosperous and more. It was, you can see the poverty, but actually it was much better life than
it's
on the
beautiful. I mean,
continent.
so much
Yeah, and
life and so many stories.
Yeah, he calls it just life. So just life is a very symbolic name. Well, there are.
This one that horrified the babushka, seeing how this woman is scandalous. This young
Babushka. I like your pronunciation of Russian words. It's very cute.
It should be babushka. Or
Babushka.
Babushka.
No, but the way you pronounce it is like the most, like outside of Russia, people do.
Babushka.
Babushka. It's funny. Babushka.
Babushka.
Yeah. So, yeah.
This man has suffered more than Vincent van Gogh.
Yeah, and the cross next to it. Cross and Lenin. So much symbolism in it.
Well, so I didn't know he was from a small island. And like, these pictures are from that place. It's very interesting. guess the Soviet Union made sure every province had a school and a hospital and everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
And Vasim was one of the few photographers who really documented this kind of life from the inside and not from the propaganda point of view, but just watching what was happening on the streets. And I think it's super important
I think
as a history.
I think communists would have tolerated it anyway because there's a certain populist. I mean, he loves these. It's a popular aesthetic. That he has. I mean, I think it's more than that, but I think he could have gotten this past censorship. I don't know. I
Yeah, he was kind of a lonely personage who was living in like what I call symbolically inner immigration, which means that people immigrate not outside but in their own world and create their own world.
If you're from an island, you might have to do that. In my experience, from Aruba.
Island person. Yes, I'm maybe it's similar to your kind of attitude. You also create your own world, and then you don't really have to struggle openly because it doesn't bring you anywhere in the end. The like revolution stuff is not something which work.
I mean, I like revolution stuff, as you put it, but indeed on Aruba, there was certainly no hope to do that, to mobilize anyone. And I knew people who were more native Arubians, of course, than I am, because I am also descended from people very foreign to Aruba, of course, who ended up there. But
where do you descend from?
Well, my father was from Argentina, came to the Caribbean in the late 70s because of the regime and all that. And he was a musician and from Argentina, and I'm also Argentinian, therefore. And my mother's parents were from east of Europe. My mother from Poland, and her mother descended from people from, I think, Belarus and and there might be a Siberian element.
Oh, very interesting. So we have a little bit of similar roots
Yes,
in a way.
possible.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I say about babush. Babush.
Yeah.
And the other one.
He selected my book. I'm very honored.
Well, it's. I mean, it's quite. I chose it quite frankly. You know, I didn't choose this because you are the interviewer here, but I do especially like this book. Well, it's, with scenery. Any kind of picture I've seen before. This officer.
Yeah. And I included it in the second edition of the book. It was not in the first edition because I thought it's such a plain picture in a way. And then I included it I thought, okay, it might work with the sequence.
It's quite it's a portrait.
And it was funny because I think this man didn't even notice that I was taking a picture of him. It was in a bus. Yes.
He was hallucinating.
I was sitting next to him in the bus, and there was certain kind of sadness in his face. And he was a military, so I found that melancholy. It's actually a very melancholic book, a little bit between melancholy and hysterical.
Hysterical.
A little bit. A little bit. It's like on the edge of sadness and a little bit of funny and the texts are a little bit.
Like a diary entry, so.
Yeah, they're just the stories. They're not necessarily diaries. They're stories, right? And they can be generic stories. This is the junkyard, big junkyard near Moscow. I think one of the biggest in Europe.
Well, you know your own, I mean, which photos you would like to.
I can tell you a couple of things about like this surrealist feeling when the reality opens up some kind of parallel world when you feel like
Yes.
you are in the cinema or something very strange is happening in front of you.
This is
Like
borscht. He's eating borscht.
yeah, it was just a chicken soup actually because borscht is red
Oh,
and this one is yellow. It's
Ah.
just very liquid chicken soup without any particular taste because there are no ingredients except for some carrots and
So that's all good.
potatoes and onions.
so that's the cuisine after
It
perestroika.
was it's like Soviet cuisine of the like public places, like that was
Public canteens.
military hospital. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
in Poland, I ate in some of those places that are still there.
So this kind of dishes also cause certain melancholy in me
Because of the taste, or
because
or
of the
quality?
past and because of the taste and all this kind of sadness comes up when you think
Soviet
that the
charm.
reality is such a huge monolith block which is unchangeable because this soup always stays the same. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but thank you. And we actually also organize Soviet cuisine evenings here, which is going to be not so sad because it will be also tasty. And
Yeah, you have Soviet is Azerbaijan, also.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're going to organize here a lot of stuff and we'll update the program very soon. Wow, thank you for being a guest for this morning talk. I hope
Thanks.
the main.
I hope there are no legal consequences.
Don't worry. No, but it's supposed to be an inspiring talk, and I think it was. It was full of inspiration. So thank you for that. And, yeah. Thanks. And I'm looking forward to see more of your artworks.
You will.
Very soon. Thanks for watching, guys, and this was our inspiring morning with our guest Arturo. Bye. And our clothing exchange is in progress. As you can see, there are a lot of people picking up nice stuff and adding to the ecology process. Yeah, so this is our clothing slope. Thank you. Bye bye. And yes, behind the glass door downstairs. Share. Wow, we had so many viewers. Look,
20.
20, but it will be also available for the people later. And